I'd like to ask one of the individuals a question. Write it down, we'll collect them. To save us from redundancy, we will do a certain amount of, these are all three the same question, we'll take one and we'll go with that. But please feel free to write down a question. We'll get to it as time will allow, and love to hear the answers from the incumbents and candidates. And then at the end, and they'll have 45 seconds to answer your question. And then we'll have closing statements at the end, once again 45 seconds each. And I will remind you, we will have a timer. And the final request I have, which Chris working the camera and the audio, please hold your mic close. We don't want you to drop off because it is being recorded. Are we good? Ready to go. I'm going to do this. This was District 1, right? 4. God, see, I keep getting backwards. District 4, 1. 4. I have a middle block. Nice! Tazeen Nizam, please do us the pleasure of leading off in an introduction about yourself and your race.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tazeen. I'd like to thank the Vista Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event and having us all here, giving us an opportunity to meet our community members. I'm running for Vista City Council District 4. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tazeen Nizam, and I am running for Vista City Council District 4. I would like to thank the Vista Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event and giving us an opportunity to meet our fellow business community and our other community members. I'm running for Vista City Council District 4 because I believe in community empowerment and I believe in a government which is responsive to its people. A little bit about myself. I have lived in San Diego County since 1991, lived in various parts of the county, married my husband in 1997, and then in 2004 we bought our home here in Shadow Ridge, and we have raised our daughter here. I live here with my mother, my husband, and my 12-year-old daughter. Of course, she thinks she's 18. Educationally, I have a business degree and an MBA in organizational management and finance. I have a consulting firm which does full-service accounting, software installation, as well as HR management, compliance, and all the way up to finance and budgeting. I have volunteered for different organizations in Vista, such as North County Lifeline, Operation Hope. I'm very involved with the homeless population that resides at Operation Hope. My family and I often cook meals for them. I really believe that Vista is sitting at a cutting edge of opportunity. We have the golden opportunity of being involved in the green tech industry and bringing tons of business to Vista, whereas at the same time meeting our climate action plan requirements mandated to us by the city. Our community is expanding. There's lots of growth. In order to have a vibrant city, we need to have smart growth. We need to have the community's input in this growth. And I'm willing to listen to each and every member of the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nazim. We're coming this way. You'll be able to, well, each table has a mic, so we're good here. But we're next in District 1. Yeah, got it. Mr. Aguilera, please.
I'm John Aguilera. I'm a current councilman. I was first elected in 2010. And one of the reasons I ran for city council was I really wanted to try to improve the city. I was looking to make the city a safer place, a place that people could feel comfortable walking downtown, cleaning up the city. Had a lot of family members, friends who really didn't feel comfortable in Vista anymore. Some of them actually just moved away. And that really made me sad. And I wanted my kids to grow up here in Vista, and when they're done with their schooling and that, hopefully come back and raise their families here as well. We live in a climactic wonderland. It's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. There's no reason why we shouldn't be one of the most popular cities to live in. And we we are very popular. We are at about 101,000. Back in 1998, we were at 87,000. So we have grown somewhat, but at the same time, there's some issues that we still have. You know, we have traffic. We have a lot of cut-through traffic from other communities where people can't afford to live in Vista, and but they still work here in Vista. So one of the things I'm very proud of is we have one of the most the busiest and fullest business parks in North County. We're at about 97th percentile as far as the business park goes. Very, very successful. Unfortunately, that does create a little bit of traffic for us as well, but I'm proud of that. Our downtown is booming since I got elected back in 2010. We've got some really popular restaurants and breweries, and people feel comfortable. If you look at downtown, you come downtown on the weekends, you'll see people walking around, enjoying themselves, and you know, again, feeling safe and comfortable in Vista. In addition to that, since I've been elected, we also added a fourth ambulance. So safety is my concern, developing businesses, and developing the image of Vista as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aguilera. And Karina Contreras, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Karina Contreras. I'm running for District 1 of our Vista City Council, and it is a complete honor to be in front of you today. You know, I've been in Vista my whole life, which is 30 years. I went to public schools here. I graduated from UC Santa Barbara. I've been a board member of a pretty large nonprofit. I started a micro business. I have a corporate career where I talk to business owners on a daily basis. Granted, they're in Texas, but I get to hear what really makes their businesses run on the financial side. And, you know, when I was first looking at how do you even start a micro business, I went searching for tons of information. I found a great packet with the city of Chula Vista, but I could not find adequate resources here in Vista where you can, you know, get what you need to be able to turn a side hustle really into the economic engine for yourself and for your family. And so one of the reasons that I'm running for Vista City Council is that I truly believe in inclusive economic development. And what do I mean by that? I mean that we cannot grow as a city if we are not including every part of the city. Now, when we drive through Vista, we can see there's a complete difference between District 1 and the rest of the city. We talked about how the business park is full. I think we need something else north of the 78. We need to be forward thinking as a city. Let's create some amazing green tech campuses where we can have housing close to where people work, where we can, you know, have better representation on Sandag or North County Transit District so we can make public transit work for Vista. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And next, Dominic D'Agostini, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Dominic D'Agostini. I'm running for the mayor seat. I was born and raised San Diego, Vista. 34 years old, love this town. My wife and I are expecting our first child. Please found out the baby girl come along. We're both small business owners. We do property management here in Vista. We are in the construction industry. We do real estate, all facets. I feel that Vista is at a good point with this economy right now where the coastal towns are getting saturated. There's no more development there's no more land for developers to come in and snatch up in the coastal towns, so they're moving eastward. And these developers, we need to hold them accountable to invest not so much in their personal developments, but more in the community itself. It's going to be adding this housing that's desperately needed, but it's going to put a lot more cars on the road. And we need to have these developers invest into the infrastructure. And if we do it retroactively after these things are open and people are moving into, there's going to be excess cars on the road. It's going to be a lot more. It's going to be exponentially harder to fix the problem. It's going to be a lot more expensive to do so as well. I think that this is the time where we need the growth. It is happening, but we need to do it in a way where it's sustainable. So I think there's routes to go about doing this, which would be traffic impact fees, and I feel that, you know, the downtown is progressing with breweries and new businesses, and we need to make it, you know, a streamline to get new and more progressive businesses into our downtown. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Green, please.
All right, good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank the Chamber for hosting this event. I'd like to thank everybody else for making some time in their afternoon to come out on a Thursday at 12 o'clock. My name is Joe Green, and I am running for mayor of Vista. I grew up here in Vista, and I attended Vista schools. I graduated from Rancho Buena Vista High School, and I have 4 children that attend or attended Vista Unified School District. I got one out last year. I've been married to my beautiful wife, Jennifer, for over 20 years, and I'm hoping that through this process today, you'll get to know me a little bit better in my heart for this town. I started my service in this community at my church, North Coast Church, where I still serve today, and I moved into the PTA sector. After serving in several different capacities, from Spirit Friday chair to president of the entire PTA school district, I realized that there was a disconnect between our city and our schools and our parents. After diving into it a bit more, I saw what I believed was a disconnect between our city and our citizens as well. I chose to run for office to help bridge that gap and build a strong sense of community involvement. I feel that in the time that I've been on the city council, I've helped move that needle in the right direction. I want to continue to work hard to be inclusive of all of our citizens and make sure that everyone knows that all of their opinions matter. The best way to get anything completed successfully and satisfactory is an open form of communication. Communication is the very lifeblood of any relationship, and I feel like our relationship with the community of Vista should be a very good one. The job of mayor, you'll see my skill set isn't building houses. It's not running spreadsheets or performing surgery. My skill set is communicating and building relationships. The job of mayor is exactly that. Communicating openly with citizens, staff, and other city officials while building strong relationships to accomplish the most good for our town and community as a whole. Know that I'm running for this office because I feel like I'm the absolute best person for this job. I genuinely feel like I was made for this. My name is Joe Green. I look forward to fielding your questions, and I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Judy Ritter, please.
Hi, my name is Judy Ritter. Thank you for coming today. All of you have a good crowd today. We appreciate you coming and taking time out of your day for us. I actually have been at Vista about 45 years. My kids all grew up here. All 3 of them, my daughters graduated from Vista High School. My grandsons were 24 and 26, graduated from Rancho. And I have little ones who are 7. One is at Tri-City Christian in 2nd grade, my little granddaughter. And my grandson is 3 and a half, and he is at North Coast Church Preschool, so which is my church where I also serve. So when I first got on the council, my long-term goal was to make this a destination city. And so, you know, if we were a sleepy little town and people actually, you know, there wasn't much going on here. It was kind of a bedroom community, and so I wanted to have things happen and make it a city where people wanted to come into town. And I also wanted it to be a family place. And I wanted, when the kids graduated from high school, I wanted them to have jobs here and come back, go to college, come back here and work here. And that's kind of what I've been working toward all the time I've been on the council. I have a lot of experience in business. I have a business background. I worked for General Motors for about 10 years. Before I moved out here, I was in the fitness industry for 25 years. I also owned an international music business, shipping business, and promotional product business for 25 years. I owned a fitness club, Courthouse Fitness Club, and I also have been a realtor for the last 15 years, but in the last few years I've been kind of doing it part-time because the mayor's job has been so busy at this time. So I think that we've kind of made a lot of strides toward becoming a destination city. If you look up Paseo Santa Fe, phase 1, it turned out really good. Phase 2 is underway, and my time is almost up. And so we're into phase 3, but there's a lot going on in our city, and I'm really proud of where we've come from in our downtown with our new restaurants and our new microbreweries and our new parking lot, and what's future to come. And so I'm looking forward to continuing the progress of our city.
Thank you, Judy. Mr. Franklin.
Well, thank you very much. I also want to thank the members of the Chamber who put this together today, and all of you who took the time to attend. My name is John Franklin. I'm the councilman from District 4. I ran for the City Council 4 years ago because I was looking at our city budget, and after years of being in deficit, I thought we could do better on a fiscal basis. And so I decided to run, and I want to see, and I'm proud to tell you that the last 4 years we've had a balanced budget. We eliminated the structural deficit, and as I've observed what's happened, 4 years ago, I used to make meetings to have lunch with somebody, and we'd scratch our head and wonder where we could have a meal in Vista. There was the barbecue place, but there weren't that many places you could go sit down and have a business meal. And that's really something that we've tried to attack. And I think today, 4 years later, there's no question, economically, this city is in a place that it was not 4 years ago, and the direction that we're headed as a city is night and day different. The way that people talk around our county about the direction of our city, this is a turnaround story, and it's a success story. And I personally want to continue that success. My priorities going forward for the next 4 years, first, traffic. Traffic is a thing that we've heard more from the people of Vista than anything else. And I'm very proud that we just approved the traffic signal interconnect in South Vista. For the first time, our traffic signals are going to be smart. They're going to talk to one another. We're going to be able to better, more efficiently time them. And we're going to be able to observe in real time what's happening at our intersections so that we can make on-the-fly adjustments. As far as public safety goes, we did bring back the 4th ambulance. We've increased and hired firefighters to staff that, and I'm very proud that at our very next city council meeting, we'll be discussing one of my initiatives to increase the number of sheriff's deputies in Vista. And I want to continue to do that to increase public safety. My last priority is elimination of blight and improving the beauty of our city. I want Vista to be a beautiful place that when we get off the highway, we see green, beautiful things, and we feel great civic pride. And so eliminating blight and building parks, big priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. Ms. Ong.
She started.
Okay. That was awkward. Okay. We're going to start with questions now that the Chamber has come up with. And going around, since we started with Nazim, we're starting with Mr. Aguilera. And at least the first question will be tailored to either you're an incumbent or you're vying for a position as a council member or mayor. So, Mr. Aguilera, how long have you been in office? What have you accomplished during your time in office? And you, by the way, have a minute and a half.
Okay. So I was elected in 2010. Some of the things I've already kind of gone through that have been accomplished by our council. We've had various people in council during that time period. But Vista's crime rate is at a 20-year low. Something I'm very, very proud of, and part of one of the reasons I wanted to run. Our sidewalk improvements. I grew up on the north side of Vista, and I remember as a child walking down the middle of the streets because there were no sidewalks. So we're working on building more sidewalks in the north side of Vista. It's a very old neighborhood. Graffiti removal, that's probably one of my biggest things. And we've gone ahead and designed an app, or we didn't design it, but we purchased an app that was designed for us called Access Vista. Many of you probably have that. Just take a picture of the graffiti and it goes directly to the city. Location is already identified. Makes it very easy for people to report code enforcement issues. And we added 2 new skate parks. Parks are a big thing. I coached Little League when I was a bit younger, my kids were younger. So I'm very proud of the sports park that we have. There's 2 new skate parks. I used to skate in the first skate park that we had here in Vista when I was a kid, but that was closed down very quickly. And we've invested about $10 million in our parks. I'm very proud of that as well. We also built the Linda Rose Community Center with the $5 million grant.
Thank you, Mr. Aguilera. And Ms. Contreras, please. Oh, I have to revise the question. I was going to leave you hanging there, sorry. What makes you qualified to hold the position of city council member? And what do you intend to accomplish during your time in office?
Thank you for the question. So I outlined a little bit about myself in my introduction. And since I've come back from Santa Barbara, where I had amazing opportunities, I've been able to work with different community groups, not just here in Vista, but across North County, to really tackle quality of life issues, whether it's in Carlsbad, whether it's in Escondido or San Marcos, or a lot of times here in Vista. And I've been able to really connect with different people and different groups throughout the community. And that is essential to being a good council member, because our primary job is to be a bridge of communication between local government and the people. And unfortunately, one of the reasons that I decided to run was that I myself kept hitting a wall when I would ask, why don't we have shade for the people that use certain bus stops that are used so much throughout the day? And all I hear is that there's no money. And so one of the things I want to accomplish is really bringing people into the equation, because that's who we represent. And that's how we want to grow our city, is to be inclusive. We have a really young city. We need to create opportunities for those individuals. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Diagostini, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I got you.
Good, thank you.
All right, so I have a degree in business management from Cal State San Marcos. Like I said before, I'm born and raised in Vista. I have taken advantage of all the programs and everything that, all the aspects of Vista that Vista has to offer, whether it be softball leagues or basketball leagues or, you know, the parks or, you know, the VEC, the Vista Entertainment Center, the bowling alley. I grew up here. I had lunch with Joe yesterday. We were talking about, you know, I am Vista. You know, I know everything about it. After growing up and becoming an adult and learning, and you know, I'm in construction, I'm in real estate. I deal with the federal government, with state government, and different projects and developers all the time. I know how to navigate through all the red tape and get things done. And I see from the behind the curtain what it takes to grow a community, whether it be the construction side, whether it be on the real estate side. And I see things happening which, you know, I feel that there's some common sense that they need to address certain things that needs to keep the growth sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Diagostini. Mr. Green, please.
All right, so since I'm currently on the council, it's a little different because I am currently elected and I'm also running for mayor. So I've been a part of a lot of the change over the past couple of years. And I feel like the most change that I'm the most proud of is communication and really bringing the community into the fold on every decision throughout the city and throughout the community. I think what makes me qualified for being the mayor is I am Vista as well. My network in Vista here is huge. I have kids that are in the schools. I've owned a business in the town for the last 20 years. Being a councilman, I'm very present around town. I'm involved in my Chamber of Commerce. I really feel like I have my finger on the pulse of this community. And as the mayor, that's what you have to do. You have to have your finger on the pulse of the community. I'm not gonna have all of the answers. I definitely don't know everything. But I have a very wise community, and I have very good friends in this community that are business owners and property owners and different elected officials and just different people throughout our community, stakeholders in our community that really make a difference, that really believe in Vista, that really care about Vista. And as your mayor, it's gonna be my job to collaborate with all of those stakeholders to make sure that the decisions I make for Vista are the decisions that are gonna benefit Vista. I'm the guy that you want at the table, bringing things home for our city. If there's money on the table, I'm getting it. It's our job to make Vista the best that it can be, and I'm the guy that's gonna make that happen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Judy, would you?
What was the question again?
I'll be glad to ask it again. How long have you been in office? What have you accomplished during your time in office?
Okay, so I've been in office a long time. I actually served several terms on the city council before I became the mayor, which got me to know regionally how everything works. I've served on, I can't tell you how many committees, hundreds of committees all through those years, so that I would get the education and be step into the mayor job. Once Morris Vance, our other mayor, left, it was a seamless way to get into the job because I knew the city and I knew what was going on in the city and I knew what was going on in the county. So, but the things that I've accomplished under my time, I'll just kind of list them because there's a lot of them. We did a new general plan. The Kokorian Center was not there. It was an old lawn center. We did new fire stations, the Woodland Amphitheater, did a new Sparks Park. We did graffiti removal. That's a thing we started under me. Access Vista. We do early design review with all, you know, if you have, they're putting a project into Vista, we do early design review so that you can come in and tell them your ideas before they put money into the project. We put in skate parks, new skate parks, the new Palo Vista Park. Paseo Santa Fe Phase 1, working on Phase 2, working our way into Phase 3, so that all of South Santa Fe will be redone, which is a high crime area. Our crime is at the lowest it's been in, I think, 40 years, it's very low. We do the Linda Road Center, which has programs that we share with the school district. We share programs there for the city. We have city council, our meetings, we change from in the afternoon until the evening at 5:30 so that more people can attend those meetings. We still kind of get the same amount of people, we don't get a lot, it just depends on the subject of the night, what we get in our meetings. So, and there's my red flag.
Thank you so much, Judy. John, you're up.
Thanks. So, I touched on it when I gave my opening remarks, but I really think the way that we've progressed the economic development in the city during the last 4 years is one of the best achievements that we've made as a council. I've been a member of the city council for almost 4 years, and prior to that I was elected to be the District 4 representative on the Vista Irrigation District. A few of the other things that I'm proud of that we've accomplished, we've increased the number of bike lanes on our arterial roadways. These not only make it safer for cycling, but they also make our streets look better, part of our blight elimination plan. And let's see, we refinanced the Prop L debt, saved the taxpayers $1.5 million in doing so. We put draft budgets on our website instead of just approved budgets, that way taxpayers could comment on them before they're approved. We implemented crime-free multi-housing ordinance and have reduced crime in those high-density developments since. We've implemented a traffic congestion management plan. We have, one of my initiatives was implementing a resident for Vista resident, a discount for Vista residents at Vista recreation opportunities like the Wave of the Moonlight. Very proud to have eliminated red light cameras. Was elected by my colleagues to be deputy mayor in 2017. We added lanes to North Melrose and Vista Way. Eliminated mixed-use zones to protect commercial structures from being replaced. Let's see, we fought to keep marijuana businesses out of Vista. Significant increased funding for the homeless.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. Thank you very much. Ms. Nizam, please.
So my main important thing that I keep talking about again and again is open communication with the community. An open communication hub for the entire of Vista. I know, I met a young lady the other day who had a little baby and she was like, well, I'd love to come to the forum, but what do I do with this guy? I'd like an open communication hub for all of Vistans to feel like they have a voice and they have some input. One more thing that I always talk about is the live, work, play model. A model which incorporates Vista into a transitional, easy transit zone and bring back vibrance to our city with new restaurants, more artwork, more art walks, and events in Vista where every resident of Vista is interested in coming and joining parts of Vista. I know the City Council has done a lot of work in that arena, but we need to do more. We need to open our Vista downtown to the rest of the community. We need to ask the rest of Vista what it takes for them to come to downtown, spend their dollars in downtown Vista instead of going to other cities. So we all can move toward a vibrant Vista if we do a multi-pronged approach with all our businesses, our art projects, our communication hub being open to all of Vista, and work towards inclusive economic development and vibrance of Vista.
Thank you very much. And that concludes the first question. He started. Okay, the second question. A repetitive topic at the Chamber of Commerce is housing. It's on every discussion. So, Ms. Contreras, we will start with you. Share your thoughts on housing developments, both single-family and multifamily, being proposed and built in the city of Vista. Please.
Well, it's no secret, we definitely need more housing. We can't continue to build out east. It's just 24/7 fire season. We can't extend our resources more. So we all know that Vista has to become more dense. That's a given. But are we in a position right now where our infrastructure can actually handle the density that's needed? And I would say no, because I start work at about 6:30 in the morning and I work in Escondido, and there's already a line queuing up to get to the freeway when I'm on Santa Fe. So we need to address the structural issues in Vista. And we also have to take a look at affordability. We have an affordability crisis. We talk a lot about parking and how it's an issue. But if we have an affordability crisis, you have multiple people living in a residence that is not made for that many people. And so just more parking structures, wider lanes is not going to address that affordability crisis. So I had mentioned before having a future where we can implement some amazing campuses that have green tech. Well, we also need workforce housing. We need affordable housing for a workforce here in Vista. Because right now, a lot of people that live here, they can't work in Vista. I've always had to have a job somewhere else. And we would rather grow our city with having proper infrastructure, density where transit is, and really bringing the people into the conversation, continuing the open communication that's needed prior to moving big projects forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. D'Agostini. If anyone wants me to repeat questions, please just raise your hand.
Being in real estate and construction, we talk about this topic a lot. If you're gonna build a single family residence in Vista, or really North County at all, it doesn't make financially it doesn't make sense to build just one home. You can't build one home for under $1 million. It can't be done with all the fees and plan checks, all the fees associated with that to build it. That's why you see all these developers coming in and building, large developments as, we need these houses. So the developers are coming in, they need it. But we need to be able to streamline the building process for the single family homes as well. Also, Vista has the leverage right now where these developers have to move eastward from the coastal cities. We could hold their feet to the fire and say, if you want to build here, which is needed, we need to see you invest into the community itself as well. If they, dealing with developers, they don't care about the community. They just want the bottom dollar. They look at, just trying to build their development, get in and out as fast as possible. It's all about timing and bonuses that they make. If they could get it done by opening their model by a certain date. So they don't really care about the community. Once it's in, they're out. We need to make sure to hold their feet to the fire that, they're gonna invest in the community itself, whether it be infrastructure or outreach for homeless or whatever, but we have to leverage.
Thank you, Mr. D'Agostini. Mr. Green?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Of course I could. Share your thoughts on housing developments in general, but including both single-family and multifamily being proposed and currently being built.